don't know if you heard it at the very end, where it's one of the very end. He says, and where he says that, and you work all day, and you never get paid, and behind it says that's okay. We couldn't afford you anyway.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, goodness. Well, this morning we're here to honor our mothers, our grandmothers, our great grandmothers. So I'm curious though. Do we have any great grandmothers in here? No. Well, okay. We got a lot of grandmothers. I know that. Right? How many grandmas we got? Wow. A few. All right. And mothers. Okay. I'm not talking about you men who think you're bad mothers, just mothers. Real mothers, okay.
That was a bad joke when you said
I know, it's first time, right?
Thank you.
Oh, goodness, goodness. Well, there are so many examples, biblical examples, of moms and grandmoms and even great-grandmothers. And I don't know if y'all have had an opportunity to get to know your great-grandmother. Mine was 97 when she passed, and she was vacuuming the day she died. And she came over from Alabama in the 1880s on covered wagon. Fought Indians on the way, fought robbers and stuff on the way, stayed in military forts, and she was just as sharp as a tack at 97. I'm sorry, what is it? It's inherent, I know. Okay. But anyway, having a great grandmother, I know it was special. It was different because most people don't have an opportunity to have them. And the ones when you do, unfortunately, a lot of times they're not quite as sharp as mine was. But she remembered so many things and all. And I kept trying to get her to record all of these stories and all of these things and what the events were to be like, to go through all these wars that she went through, to go through the Depression and the Dust Bowl and everything that she went through, all the different presidents, just our history and what life and culture was like for her growing up, and especially being a woman in those time periods and all. So I brought her a tape recorder. Brought her a little tape recorder. This was back in the days of the reel-to-reel tape recorders, and put them out, and she just, Rusty, I would do it, but I just can't sit here and talk in that thing. I just can't do it. I'm like, I kept begging her, please, Grandma, we want your great grandkids to know these stories and to hear your voice saying it. But she just couldn't do it. Well, she didn't do it, but I finally figured out how she died. They ran out of coffee. Back in those days, they drank coffee from early in the morning till when she went to bed at night at 8 o'clock. And it was that high test percolator stuff, which I love. And so she would, I'm sure that's just what happened. They must run out of coffee because the woman never stopped. Those of y'all who know me know I don't I don't have that at all. But there's so many biblical examples of our mothers, our grandmothers, and our great-grandmothers. And it's because of this analogy, the similarity that between God the Father and Christ the Son wanted the mother to have. Women, y'all are so special, and I mean that from the heart as much as I can. Y'all are so special. You are so different in the eyes of the Father than men are. I mean, He entrusted you to continue life and to put you into a special relationship of this life. Y'all, I mean, from the moment that you found out, or how many of you just knew? I'm always interested, I hear so many women just say, well, I didn't have to have a test, I just knew. I mean, how many were like that you just knew you were pregnant? And that God, I mean, let's look, I mean, this is there's a lot of depth to this, that God picked you out to have the seed of Aaron, of the girls and Logan, Molly, Nate, Wyatt. I mean, and Marshall and my little Maddie. You know? My goodness. So blessed. So blessed with these awesome kids. You know? And Emily. I mean, you know, it's just the fact that moms, you guys have something guys will never have. We'll never know. We can't understand. Quite frankly, I'm kind of glad.
Amen.
Most guys don't want to trade places with y'all. Do we, guys?
Nope.
Y'all can have Father's Day. I don't care. Just don't make us trade places. But, you know, the thing that we do, that unfortunately the thing that we do in our analogies with, and looking at our lives, your lives with God the Father, with Christ the Son, is that unfortunately sometimes we still, just like we do with them, we still tend to, guys, take our moms for granted. We still tend to blame them for things, especially in our teenage year. Molly, just don't listen to that. But blame them. Or maybe it's because that just like with God, we blame God because things didn't happen the way we wanted it to. Or we were praying one thing and it didn't happen the way we wanted to, so we get upset with God. And we all do this. Women and men alike, we all do this same thing to the one that carried us for 9 months. Sometimes a little less than 9 months, sometimes a little more. But we know that this physical connection that you ladies have, that are moms and grandmothers and all, is something that cannot be, I don't think it can be put into words. It's certainly not words I could describe and use. It's something that you experience through carrying, especially through that 9 months. Was that a journey or what? I mean, I know from my side of it, it was not always fun.
Amen.
and really, with Chris's life, it wasn't bad. It really wasn't bad, but it was just, guys, did y'all ever feel a little bit disconnected? You know? Like you're there and you're part of it, but you're not really part of it. I mean, I did. I mean, I could listen when Kristen was kicking in the womb and turning around and stuff, and I could listen and feel that. It was cool. It was so cool, but I gotta tell you, I was jealous. I was jealous. Until she got up at 2 o'clock in the morning, was throwing up all over the place and wanted me to go get pickles and whatever. It was jalapenos and something else. And so, I wasn't jealous then. But to know that y'all have something, this started, I mean, no matter how old our kids are, y'all know them a lot longer than we have.
Amen.
And your relationship with them is so much more special. And that goes on down through the generations. Your relationship as grandmothers is even, I think, more special. Because you can relate in a way that we just can't. As much as I think the men in this, especially the men in this room, we strive to be great dads. We strive to be great dads. You've got a great dad, you know that. You got a great dad, you know that. Well, we've got great dads, but we want to be great grandfathers as well. Yeah. And we get to be great grandfathers. But it's just different. It's just different. You know, I think it's safe to say that the love between the child and the mother is just really very simple. But it's so complex. Does that make sense to you? Moms, do you get that? Dads, we're not going to get that. Y'all can agree with me, but you're not going to get it. But moms, y'all get that. Because I watch, and not just through my own family, but listening to y'all and watching your families grow and everything, and I wouldn't say the struggle, but the growth between, not all, but some mothers, and especially their daughters, especially teenage daughters. Now, teenagers we know are already, I mean, they're just, we just need to put them in a closet at 12 and bring them out at 19, and then, you know, and then they'll all be perfect like Kim's kids. But when we try to look at this relationship and all, it is so simple because there's just this unconditional love that goes on between the mom and the kids. But it's so hard to keep it going, it seems like, sometimes. Now, I think as y'all get older, it gets better. Is that true? Would y'all say that? You're over there. Try to decide, okay. You know, I used to listen to my mom, and she would look at me. I could feel her stare. I could just feel her. Did you ever know that? Did you know that? Your mom's somewhere in the room, and you just feel her stare. Especially when you were younger. I could feel her stare, and I'd look over, and she goes, "I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking, William Russell, and don't you be doing that." How in the world? Gosh, how does she know all this? And then, or you're in another room, you're completely in another room, and William Russell, cut! I know what you're doing. I see exactly what you're doing. You better stop it right now. What in the world? Well, back in the 80s when I was a kid, and what?
Sounded good.
Thank you, man. I was waiting for Brian.
20 years, let's see.
And so back in the 80s when I was a kid, we'll stay with that, you know, there weren't video cameras in every room. There weren't surveillance things. There weren't phones, you know, everywhere where moms and dad could watch you and what you were doing. Thank God. But still, they had this thing. I don't know how they did it, but she knew what I was doing, and she would call me out on it. So I got to admit to you, there were times at night when she was asleep, I'd go in there and I'd start pulling her hair back, trying to find those eyes. And that's what was crazy, was I never found them. That made it even weirder. How does she know this? How does she know everything I'm doing? Well, I know there are no perfect people, and there are no perfect mothers, except mine. And she was. And I want to do something I don't normally do, but I want to take just a minute or two, and since I have the mic, and I want to tell you about the most amazing person. And my mom was this tall. She was 4'11" and about 90 pounds soaking wet. We used to call her 90 pounds of pure dynamite, because she was. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. Well, y'all could tell. I'm sure you picked up on that immediately. But, all right. I saw that. So anyway, but she was absolutely gorgeous, extremely smart. Okay, I'll admit I skipped a generation on that one. All right, but she was very smart, very beautiful, and so full of so much energy. The woman had so much energy that I am sure that one of my dad's advertising clients, my dad was in television, and I'm sure one of his advertising clients, and all, they saw my mom, they met my mom, and they're the ones who came up with the description and the idea of the Energizer Bunny. Because if you've ever seen those commercials, that's my mom. She didn't stop. I mean, she all day long, all night long. I still don't know where she got her energy, but I will tell you, this is a true story. We would, especially in my younger years, she would take us to school, pick us up from school, and take us to our brand new house, or maybe not brand new, but new house, where she had moved all the furniture. Everything had been moved while we were at school. And I mean, clothes were in the drawers, on the closets, stuff in the fridge. I mean, movers weren't there. Oh, by the way, guys, we moved. Here's your new home. You're changing school districts in 2 days. What? She did this 3 or 4 times. I'm dead serious. Amazing. Just how she did some of this stuff was amazing. She had a full-time business too. She had a beauty salon, that's what they called them back then. Beauty salons and a modeling school. And so she had, in fact, she did so well at her modeling school that she had 2 of her women, and all, were Miss Texas. And one of them was Miss Runner-Up to Miss USA. So she was really, really good, something else, and all. But I was telling you about her being the Energizer Bunny. Just give you another example. I had a paper route when I was young, junior high, up into high school, where you still rode bikes and delivered the newspaper. Anybody remember what newspapers are? What they look like? Okay. And so they would drop off the newspapers down the block from me. So I had to walk down, get these bundles of newspapers, bring them back to the house, sit in the living room, pull them out, fold them all up, put rubber bands around them, stick them in my pouch. Guys, y'all remember those? Bill, do you remember those where you wore the thing and you stuck all your newspapers in those big bags, you know? And so but I was real smart. As I told you, I missed a generation with Mom. But I was real smart. I took the early morning delivery. So I had to get up at 4, which most of the time she was having to get me up to make sure, and she would be sitting with me in the living room every morning, helping me fold papers. And then at the times when weather was bad in Amarillo, Texas, it could be bad a lot of times. And she would take me in the car and drive around while I delivered all the newspapers, and then come home and then start her day. We also had a rock band, Gary. Bill? I know Bill, if I have a hard time, he's seen me play, so he knows. But I have a hard time believing that one. But we had a rock band, and really, the band was pretty good. We played around a lot, all over town. But we didn't have we weren't old enough to have driver's licenses. So there's my mom in her bright red convertible, driving us around with drums stacked up in the back seat and amps hanging out, and taking us to the gigs, and then coming back at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night and picking us up. I played in a lot of sports, a lot of music, a lot of events. To this day, I cannot think of one game, no matter how old I was, one event, one music, one anything that I ever did, that she wasn't right there on the front row screaming at me. She was certainly my biggest fan, and I was hers. So thank you for letting me share my mom. I know, unfortunately, I know some of you probably didn't have that experience with a mom. I mean, I think they're in between extremes. And I was so blessed to have the one extreme, almost just the perfect mom. And I'm very sorry for anyone who had anything less than that. I really am. But I do know that it's because of God's still even though lacking in that, God didn't take away from planting in you the seed of who He wanted her to be. I think a lot of times it really wasn't the mom's lack of feelings for her kids. I really think for so many, and I know several of them, they just don't know how to express those feelings in either words or action. We've got a family member, y'all heard me talk about the situation before, and I won't go into it, but it breaks my heart to watch one of my loving family members and the horrible way his mother treats him. And all all he's ever wanted was her attention, her affection, her approval. But that's the way we all want it, right? We all want our moms to be like my mom. I don't know anything any different, you know? But what the bad part about it is that I loved her so much, yet she was the one that I probably abused the most and hurt the most, took the most for granted, just like I do with the Lord. But it's funny with our moms, sometimes we'll see them and they'll go from being just this most incredible, you know, I love you, son, to this Gestapo sergeant in like 2 seconds. I brought you into this world, young man, and I can take you out. Ever heard that one?
Yes.
Yeah, me too many times. Well, and the worst one though, the worst thing she could ever say is when she calmed down in that very soft, calm voice. You just wait till your father gets home. Anything but that. Just beat me, Mom, beat me. Where she was only this big and I could hold her head, so, which used to make it even worse. But even then, and through their humanness, because they're still human, you know, moms are just people. We can still see the love of a mother that is similar to the love of Christ, because there really is nothing like the love of a mother.
She gave me life, showed me what was right, told me not to fight the battles that weren't worth the fight. Right from the start, she held me close, and as time went on, she was strong enough to let me go. There's nothing you can do that will change her love for you. When the world comes crashing down, her love will pull you through. There's nothing you can say that will take her love away. Through the heartache and the pain, it was her love that still remained. Her love is gonna shine through everything. There's nothing in the world like a mother's love. She filled every need, made my life complete. And time and time again, she was with me to the end. She will leave your dreams, however hard they seem. When you're almost giving up, she was there to lift you up. There's nothing you can do that will change her love for you.
in the world like a mother's love. I think you'd agree with me. There's an inherent love that grows with us, and it grows with you in the womb, and then it continues, just like with the Lord, into an unconditional love. There's this thing mothers have that's an unconditional love. In Isaiah 49:15, he tells us, can a woman forget her nursing child, that she should have no compassion on the son of her womb? Even these may forget, yet I will not forget you. The scripture here is telling us that even though your mother loves you as much as she does, the things that she may do, I will never do. I will never. God is saying, I will never forget you. There's a story in Scripture about King Solomon, where he is brought these two women, and they're arguing over a baby. And one woman says that this woman stole her baby from her, and the other woman says, no, it was mine, it was mine. Well, Solomon says, well, that's fine, we'll settle this right now, bring me a sword. He says, bring me a sword and the baby. And he's going to take the baby, and he says, I'll tell you what I'm going to do, ladies. I'm going to cut this baby in half and give you each a half. Knowing that the true mother would go, no, forget it. She can have it. She can have him. Don't hurt my baby. And he knew then who the real mother was. The unconditional love of a mother willing to give up her own child. And of course, there's another love that we have in our mothers. It's this comforting love. You know, who do we go to? You know, especially as a kid, but I think even as adults, we go to moms to be comforted in those tough times, those trying times. Isaiah 66:13, God tells us, as one whom his mother comforts, so I will comfort you. You shall be comforted in Jerusalem. See, this analogy, the similarity between God's love and a mother's love is so similar, it's so powerful. That he is going to comfort us through everything. He is there for us. There's another love that only mothers seem to be good at. And guys, I'm sorry, but dads just are not good in this one. And that is a nurturing love. Oh, you guys know how to nurture. And that's a special word. That's a powerful word. Proverbs 31, we were reading about it earlier. The Proverbs 31 woman, but there's a few verses in it for sure, where she opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She looks well to the ways of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. Well, that was my mom to a T. Her children rise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises her. What more wonderful thing for anyone, but for us, what more would a woman want, a mother want, than for her children to call her blessed and to see her as the blessing that she is, and for her husband to praise her. And then there's the type of love that we typically don't want to see in a woman, a mother, and that's her protective love. Y'all ever heard the saying or little saying about, you don't want to get between a mama bear and her two cubs? She will flat tear you up. If you don't want to get between a mama and her kids. I've been seeing these videos on, people are doing these carjackings with the kids still in the car, and the moms are holding on to the top of the car and getting drugged down the street. Nobody's going to get their kid. I mean, there's this innate thing in y'all. There is nothing that's going to come between you and that child unless it's you. Nobody's going to hurt that kid. You can. Because you brought them into this world, you can take them out of it, but nobody else is going to mess with your kid. His protective love. So y'all will do whatever it takes. Jochebed, Moses' mom, in Exodus 2:3, you know, she was faced with being told that all the babies, the young babies, were to be killed. And what she did? She could hide him no longer. So she took him, put him in a basket made of bulrushes, daubed it with bitumen and pitch. In other words, made it so it would float. And she put the child in it, Moses, and placed it among the reeds by the riverbanks, so the Pharaoh's wife and daughter would find Moses. There was that protective love. She wasn't going to let anything happen to her child, as well as her unconditional love, her nurturing love. And then there's now this is the one I think we all struggle with the most with our moms, and it's a wonderful love, and gosh, I'm so glad they have it some of the time, but it's their teaching love. Mom's sitting there telling us, well, you know, you ought to. Really, Mom? I'm 42 years old. Really? So I just really don't need, you know, even though we get older, Mom is still teaching, right? And we get upset about it. We sometimes get offended with it, but why should we? She still has 20 to 30 years on us. But yet, my mom was so smart, and I loved her, and she had great advice. I just didn't want to hear it most of the time. And I'd be like, yeah, Mom, okay, yeah, okay, I gotta go. Got 14 more calls, man. No, I heard you. No, really, no, yeah, I'm doing it. Yeah, Mom, bye. How many of us do that? Just want to blow them off at all. How many times do we do that to our Lord and Savior? He's telling us and guiding us and directing us in a certain way and telling us that we need to be doing this and following His path and His ways because He created us and He knows the best for us, but yet we blow Him off as well. And we turn from Him and we go, well, yeah, God, okay, but look, you're really busy and I have these things. And we try to handle it on our own. And then what do? When we blow up, we fall apart, we go off the cliff, then we come back. And what does He do? Hey, don't come to me now. I told you. I told you to listen to me. It's okay, bud. It's okay, I got you. We're going to get through this. Don't worry. He still forgives us. And He sees past us and all of our faults. And still welcomes us in. In 2 Timothy 1:5, talks about her teaching love, or the teaching love of both the woman and also God. I'm reminded of your sincere faith, a faith that dwelt first in your grandmother Lois and your mother Eunice, and now I am sure dwells in you as well. So I was talking about earlier the transition from mother to grandmother to great-grandmother, or actually it's the other way around. Is this generational impact that you as mothers have in teaching us how to be better, how to do the things and not make the same mistakes you made or that you saw others make, without being upset about it and turning them off and pushing them away. But unfortunately, our humanness gets in the way, and we do that, both to the moms and to our Lord. And then we see the redeeming love of a mother. And it truly exemplifies the redeeming love of Jesus Christ. In Romans 5:8, where He says, but God shows His love for us, and that while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. I want to reword this for you in the version of a mom. But Mom shows her love for us, and that while we were still a mixed up mess, she would do anything for her kid. Just like Jesus, we know that no matter how far we go, how far we stray from Him, how far we we try to get away from our mom, or we turn her away, or we just downright ugly sometimes. I mean, I was so ugly sometimes to my mother. But that's kind of one of our human natures, is to hurt the ones we love. You ever heard that one before? Because there's this inherent sense in us that we can say things, we can do things to the ones we love because we know there is an inherent forgiveness. And we can do that with the Lord, but I don't think we think about it as consciously with the Lord. I don't think we think about it as much with the Lord, that we can hurt Him, we can walk away from Him, we can do all these things and blame Him and all, and then go, oh yeah, but that's okay, God, because I know you're going to love me through it. There's a conviction there that we have to get through and to walk through and to learn to be closer to Him and listen to Him, just like we should with our earthly mother or with our earthly families. And the love we see in Jesus, it's a love that it embraces us, doesn't it? It embraces us in our brokenness, doesn't it? It is where we find unconditional love, forgiveness, redemption. All these things that we find as well in our mothers. Now, there's an author named Philip Yancey, and he says, once wrote, I'm sorry, there is nothing you can do to make God love you more, and there's nothing you can do to make God love you less. I think this is just another example of an analogy we can put to others. Just like the psalm was saying, there's nothing you can do to make her love you any less. There's nothing you can say to push her away. There's nothing we can do more to make them love us anymore, because unconditional love is unconditional. And there's nothing. It's all part of the. It's not a test. It's just not a test. But I think sometimes we go through life and we challenge people. We challenge our mothers. We challenge our fathers. We challenge God to see if they'll love us through this. And I don't know how conscious we are in it. I think sometimes we just do it in hopes that we're going to be forgiven. We're going to be understood. And we're going to be welcomed back. We never forget, I hope, the good and the bad times with our moms, with our Lord and Savior, with our Father. And we understand through these good and bad times to see through them the unconditional love, the forgiveness that they have, the comfort that they offer, the nurturing love that a mother has. But we never, we don't take that for granted anymore. When we get past that, so I don't know how many of you still have your moms with you, and I pray you all do. But if you don't, that there is you have transformed into a love with her and memories with her that you cannot have enough of. I have a picture of my mom and me on the dresser. So every morning I tell her good morning. Hi. Every night I tell her good night. And I can hear her many times during the day, William Russell, I cannot believe you're thinking. I'm sorry. I'm doing that. And I'd give anything to get that. Listen. So moms, dads, husbands, kids, I want you to hear me. I want you to hear me. There is nothing like a mother's love. I want you to walk out of here today with a different perspective and a different feeling of just how important she was and is to you. And the difference, whether she is here now or she is not, she is still making in your life from all that has been played in you by him through her. Because she was picked out special just for you. Just for you. Okay, I want to close this morning with a song. I've been doing it, closing with this for the past couple of years. And if you thought the others were tearjerkers, wait till you hear this one. So, husbands, get your handkerchiefs ready for your wives. Get the Kleenex out, ladies, because it just speaks to you about who you are as a mom. Okay?
Work it out, wait your turn, never take a dare, get along. Don't make me come down there, linger and pull the clothes, put your stuff away, make your bed, do it now. We don't have all day, were you born in a barn, would you like some hay? Your word I say. Don't get on the phone, don't sit so close, turn it down, no texting at the table. Beauty time tonight, your iPod, my iPod, you're going to sit up. I know what time do you think you're running home? Thank you, please excuse me, that you're welcome everywhere you roam. Appreciate my wisdom someday when you're older and you're grown. I can't wait till you have a couple little children of your own. You'll thank me for the counsel I give you so willingly, but right now I thank you not to roll your eyes at me. Cause nothing that you would appreciate. Take a bite, maybe two of the stuff you hate. Use your fork, do not burp, or I'll set you straight. To eat the food I put on your plate. Get a dig in the door, know what's wrong with me. Get a grip, get in your arm, count 2, 3, get a job, get a life, get a PH, get a dose of I don't care a story you're grounded until you're 36. Get your story straight and tell the truth or what's for heaven's sake. Then before your friends don't do the clear what you jump to. If I said it was I said at least 1,000 times before that. You're too old to act this way. It must be your father's
Oh, ta-da. Oh, God. I love that. I just love that. It's the truth, isn't it?